Now, every Republican in Congress wants to stop this madness desperately. And we have voted many times, over a dozen times, collectively 13 times, to reopen the government, to keep it open and reopen it once the Democrats closed it. But here's the very simple and important fact that no one should forget. We have no ability. Republicans do not have the ability to do this on our own. It's a simple math problem. We need Democrats to help. You need 60 votes in the Senate. We only have 53 Republicans. The Democrats are the ones voting repeatedly to shut down the government. But they're not opening it back up. They spent most of their time trying to distract the American people from the very simple truth.
Want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
Hey. Why this beat so cold?
We will make America proud again. And you try to kill our we will make America wealthy again. And yes, together, we will make America great again.
Boy, oh boy, what's going on, family? I hope everybody that is tuned in right now that you are blessed, well, and healthy, that you're having a great start to a new week. Happy Monday. It's one love, man. And I hope y'all continue to spread that love to one another, especially in these times that we are living in, man. Dark times, man. We're bringing you some updates, some big things that are happening right now as it just gets worse and worse and worse for the Democrat Party, especially when it comes to this government shutdown. And again, they say this is their leverage, that they will continue to increase the pain. But as you know, Trump and this administration, they're not folding, they're not bending right now. And again, it's all being exposed in broad daylight of the Schumer shutdown, of the Democrat shutdown, and the far left. But Mike Johnson just posted this, the hypocrisy of the Democrats and the government shutdown that created the undeniable and defensible shutdown. So watch former President Obama lay it out.
You don't like a particular policy or a particular president? Then argue for your position. Go out there and win an election. Are some of these folks really so beholden to one extreme wing of their party that they're willing to tank the entire economy just because they can't get their way on this issue? Are they really willing to hurt people just to score political points? Republicans in Congress chose to shut down the federal government. Let me be more specific. One faction of one party in one house of Congress, in one branch of government, shut down major parts of the government, all because they didn't like one law.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy. As you know, it's not looking good. MSNBC just sounded the alarm that Democrats and Chuck Schumer are taking huge blame right now for the federal shutdown. Their own voters are turning on them now. And we seen this morning, they were interviewing people, even interviewing Democrats, and people were on live on television calling out the Democrat Party as they arrived to food banks, saying, and it was one lady on there said, "This isn't Trump's fault." And I was so happy. And if we can pull that clip up, we're gonna play it during the show. I was so happy to see that, because the way they've made it sound, and to see the Hakeem Jeffrey to go come up on the fake news media every single day and repeat the exact same script of blaming Trump, of blaming MAGA, of blaming Republicans. We know what this is all about. The people spoke loud and clear. Trump has told you, open up, we negotiate. Keep the government open. Check this out. MSNBC just sounded the alarm. The fake news media just sounded the alarm.
Yeah, I mean, this is a very dramatic call from that union of federal employees representing hundreds of thousands with a statement today saying, among other things, that it's time for our leaders to start focusing on how to solve problems for the American people rather than on who is going to get the blame for a shutdown that Americans dislike. Because when the folks who serve this country are standing in line for food banks after missing a second paycheck because of this shutdown, they aren't looking for partisan spin. They're looking for wages that they earned. They go on to essentially say that Congress needs to pass, in their view, a clean CR. Now, when Speaker Mike Johnson was asked about this today, he certainly kind of leaned into this. In fact, we saw several top Republicans on the House side take advantage of this statement and basically point to it, saying, Democrats, the ball is in your court now, whether or not you decide to act on this. Johnson saying, I certainly hope this is a turning point in the shutdown, noting that this is a union, after all, that is weighing in this sort of way, and saying that this shutdown is a charade. Now, of course, at the same time, I have in recent weeks spoken to Democrats representing districts with heavy populations of federal employees, and their message that they say they've been receiving from federal workers was keep up the fight, that health care is the fight worth having, that it is an important time to push back on the Trump administration. Of course, as this continues to drag out, as we see federal employees now missing paychecks, will that start to change? We shall see this week when lawmakers start to return. The Senate comes in this afternoon. They're expected at some point this week to vote again on that CR to reopen the government. And members of the House Democratic Caucus are going to be here as well, so we'll be polling them too.
All right, latest updates on the shutdown.
Another impact of the shutdown, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP benefits, will run out November 1st if the government doesn't reopen before then. We're talking late next week. A few hours ago, Maryland Governor Wes Moore put out a statement. He says the Trump administration hasn't guaranteed states will be reimbursed for covering federal expenses like food benefits, which has been the case during previous shutdowns. The governor says, quote, we will continue to do everything in our power to ensure the federal government follows the law and provides funding for the critical services that our families, our children, and our veterans rely on.
This is interesting. All right. So there are several things about the shutdown that people like Governor Moore are likely going to be fairly dishonest with you about. And there's actually 3 things that you need to know about the shutdown. Number 1, there have been 12 votes. Count them. 12 votes in order to reopen the government. The Republicans consistently vote yes. There are a few Democrats that have crossed party lines in order to vote yes. But guess what? Governor Wes Moore, he's barking up the wrong tree. He's going after the Trump administration. He needs to go after Senator Chris Van Hollen, Senator Angela Alto-Brooks, who all 12 times voted no. I do not want to open the government. That's literally the legislation. So number 1, this is still a Democrat shutdown because the Democrats are voting no to open the government. The Republicans are voting yes to open the government. Here's another thing you probably didn't know. Few days ago, there was actually a vote that was introduced by Republicans in order to pay essential workers. If people are working, there's a lot of people in the federal government that are working that are not getting paid. Republicans introduced legislation to pay those workers. Guess what?
They voted
the
no.
Democrats voted no, and that includes Angela Alto-Brooks and Senator Chris Van Hollen, right? This is just common sense stuff. And again, the reason they keep voting no, it's not because they're in some pursuit of some grand thing. It's because it is leverage in order for them to get legislative priorities that they could never pass through law. We've talked about this several times. And by the way, if you want more details on that, go check out my friend Euripsy Morgan. She did a great video outlining and going into specifically the words of this Democrat whip that was basically saying this is leverage for us. Finally, there is another vote or another piece of legislation introduced by another Republican senator that says, hey, let's feed these people that are on SNAP benefits. Let's at least pass legislation so that people can get at least their food benefits, because this ends on November the 1st, right? So if the government's not open, people are going to start seeing immediate impacts. Again, the Democrats are likely going to vote no. And again, so the governor, again, they see this as leverage, and they've said this is leverage. John Fetterman brought up an interesting thing. He thinks that Republicans should kill the filibuster, because that's what's holding it up, right? If the Republicans had a simple majority, then they could pass this. Should they kill the filibuster and basically say, Democrats, you no longer matter, simple majority vote? I don't know. That's interesting. I'll keep you updated.
It's a global embarrassment what these Democratic senators are doing, keeping the government shut down. I mean, look at the numbers. It's 52-3, 52 Republican senators, 3 Democratic senators that come across the line. So I just think it's an embarrassment. Doesn't affect his ability on the international stage. Now, what it does affect is starting to affect the economy. It's starting to slow down air traffic. And I would urge moderate Democrats to be heroes, come across the aisle like they did in the spring and pass a clean CR.
And look at this clown. I mean, got completely embarrassed on CNBC. Check this out.
If Republicans shut down the government next time Democrats are in charge, to extract whatever it is that they happen to want. Are you saying that's okay? Are you saying that's okay if they do that?
I mean, the Republicans have done this quite a while, yes. Yeah, Republicans have done this a lot.
I mean, what did you say about it when they did it?
I don't know, and I don't care.
If Republicans...
I don't know and I don't care. Yeah. That's Democrats. Yeah. I don't know and I don't care. Now, we see this video right here going viral. I want you guys to check it out and weigh in with your thoughts on it.
Capitol Hill, just got off the metro. Okay, so they are voting on the Shutdown Fairness Act today, but I figured something out. Okay, I think I understand why this shutdown is happening, because I've been scratching my head like, why would the Democrats be shutting down the government, depriving federal workers in the military of basically pay and food, and then depriving the military of their health care through TRICARE? I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. Why would you be so hell-bent on this? And I don't think it has anything to do with the talking points that, oh, it's the far left radicals. No, it has nothing to do with that. That they're against Trump. No, it has nothing to do with that. It has to do with the fucking insurance companies. So I found out these people, even though the government shut down, because of the ACA, their payments every month are coming directly from the Treasury to their bank accounts. So the insurance companies, United Healthcare, Aetna, Molina, Kaiser, they are getting paid right now, mandatory pay every single month, while the federal workers and the military get nothing. And so now it's finally making sense. This has nothing to do with healthcare. It has to do with dark money from the billion-dollar insurance companies. Because keep in mind, if they lose the ACA credits for next year, they're not going to get any of that money. They won't get any of that money. So even though the tax credits are tax credits, what actually happens is these tax credits get paid on behalf of you, the insured, and they go directly to the insurance companies. So that's why the Democrats are fighting so hard on this. It has nothing to do with people's premiums. It has to do with the fucking insurance companies not getting billions and billions and billions of dollars in January and next year. So what finally occurred to me this morning, and that's what took me so long, I had to do research to figure out how those tax credits were paid. But this shutdown, it's about them. It's about the billion-dollar insurance companies. And so everyone, in at least the talking points of the Democrats, are like, oh, the premiums are going to go up. Why don't you hold the insurance companies accountable? These are not market rates. They're setting the premiums. They're the ones that are deciding to keep human beings without health care. That has nothing to do with what the government does. If anything, the government's making worse. The problem is the insurance companies. They're setting the premiums, they're setting the rates, and then their providers are setting, that they own, they fucking own the hospitals, and the providers are setting these obscene rates for procedures. And so then they're making money off of the hospitals. This entire shutdown has nothing to do with healthcare and everything to do with the billion-dollar corporations, United Healthcare, Aetna, Kaiser, Molina. They are the ones that are keeping the government shut down right now. And this is how dangerous it is to have dark money from corporations like them involved with our politicians. And this is why the entire government is shut down right now. And I finally figured it out, because I just couldn't get it. Why would the Democrats do this unless the insurance companies are threatening to not fund their re-election next year? And there it is. This is all about health insurance companies and not about people trying to access health care. Because if you were trying to get people to access health care and you wanted to make it cheaper, then you force the insurance companies to quit raising their premiums and you put a cap on what those premiums are every year.
Look at this clown. I don't even know why they keep rolling him out. he ought to be they should have been walked him out and investigated him. I mean, man, I don't even know how. Anyways, check this out.
Just so you know the scope and the scale of this, those are Minnesota tax dollars that went to the federal government. Again, one of a handful of states that pays more in than we get back. I want to be very clear. USDA, during this shutdown, has contingency funds that they could release just like us. They are choosing not to. They are choosing not to. And I can paint any damn picture you want for you. They're paying contractors to tear down the East Wing, but they're not putting money into the food bank that they're setting on. So if there's a sense of frustration...
Look at this gaslighting. This clown, man, you know. And it's privately funded. I almost said something, but I'm trying to keep it clean, man. I'm trying, y'all. I'm trying. You know. But it's lying dogs like this, you know, and he ought to be walked out and fully investigated, because he not as clean as he say he is. I was a knucklehead at times.
In America, it's very real. And usually we start to do these things as we get nearer to Thanksgiving and we start to bring it to attention. We don't need a holiday to tell you that food insecurity is real, that the system that we've developed keeps people out of poverty, keeps them out of hunger, improves their quality of life, improves their health, and lets them participate in our society. And when this risk comes, it puts a lot of children, a lot of seniors, and a lot of folks with disabilities at risk by a choice. They are choosing not to fund these programs. They are choosing to prioritize. And when the White House press secretary said the top priority is the ballroom, we could not disagree more. Our top priority is the well-being of the Minnesotans, especially around food security, home heating assistance, and the things that we know Minnesota does really well. So
you see how he tried to spin that and gaslight and just blame Trump, blame Caroline Leavitt, and said that this administration is basically focusing on the ballroom, the White House renovations, then the government shutdown. And that they're the reason why the government shut down. This clown, man. This is a disgrace. Tim Walz got to be walked out and handcuffed. Look, we got this clown that comes up and repeat the same thing every single day. You can see the host, he is sick of this every single time he comes on. Every single time.
Yeah, we haven't shut the government down. Donald Trump is the president. Republicans control the House and the Senate. And what we've repeatedly made clear is that we would not support a partisan Republican spending bill that continues to gut the health care of the American people in an environment where Republicans already enacted the largest cut to Medicaid in American history. Hospitals, nursing homes, and community-based health centers are closing because of Republican policies in their one big ugly bill all across the country. Medicare is facing a $536 billion cut.
Watch how he pushes back. He's sick of this. And he's repeated the exact same thing for the last 2-3 weeks? The last couple of months, he's just said the same thing, script after script after script. Same script.
At the end of the year, unless Congress acts, again connected to the one big ugly bill. And now Republicans are refusing to even consider extending the Affordable Care Act tax credits when open enrollment starts on November 1st. This is a now issue.
But Leader Jeffries, you kind of conflated a spending bill with a clean CR. It's only 24 pages. It keeps the government open at this point. And the House passed it. It's ready to go. The Senate has it. I know that the Republicans control everything, but you know how the filibuster works. And God forbid Republicans, fold on the filibuster, because it'll be used, both parties will use it against the other. It's one of the last safeguards that make the Senate different than the House. And the only reason the Senate can't do it is purely because of Democrats. And you had one of your colleagues in the Senate say, this is the only leverage we have. People are going to get hurt. This is the only leverage we have to get what we want on health care. It's a bad look.
It's a bad look. He just called you out. He just called you and your party out. And then called out what they said. And we have it on camera. It gets worse and worse and worse for this clown in the Democrat Party. Worse and worse and worse. You just can't make this up. Mike just came out and spoke, so this is the full 2-minute clip. Let's check it out.
By so many hardworking people around this country is very real, and it gets worse with each passing day. Here's some of the stats. Last week, 1.4 million federal workers missed a full paycheck. Now, you know, many of them are furloughed, and many more are deemed essential workers, those who are essential, for example, to keep the country safe. TSA agents we've discussed, and air traffic controllers and border patrol, and of course our troops. But so many of them now are going without pay. The families of military service members and the air traffic controllers and so many of these others are now at very real risk of missing the paycheck at the end of this month. The Trump administration has done everything possible to bend over backwards to try to find sources of funding within the federal government to be able to cover the bases, but it is getting more and more challenging with each day. Now, every Republican in Congress wants to stop this madness desperately. And we have voted many times, over a dozen times, collectively 13 times, to reopen the government, to keep it open and reopen it once the Democrats closed it. But here's the very simple and important fact that no one should forget. We have no ability. Republicans do not have the ability to do this on our own. It's a simple math problem. We need Democrats to help. You need 60 votes in the Senate. We only have 53 Republicans. The Democrats are the ones voting repeatedly to shut down the government. But they're not opening it back up. They spent most of their time trying to distract the American people from the very simple truth. So it brought you a little visual aid here to just remind everybody what the simple facts are. 4 simple facts here. The Democrats are required to open the government. They keep saying Republicans are in charge of government. We aren't, not in the Senate. 60 votes control the Senate, not a bare majority.
It's honestly sad that we have to keep repeating ourselves, that Mike has to repeat the same thing over and over and over. That the Republicans, they have to get up on live on television and repeat the same thing over and over and over because Democrats come up, as we just seen Hakeem Jeffries, and you see how the host of NBC tell them literally, this is a bad look on you guys. This is a bad look for Democrats. You're lying to the American people. And we have to come up here and repeat the same thing over and over and over.
So point number 1, Democrat votes are required to open the government. Point number 2, they refuse to do it. They have now voted 12 times to keep the government closed. And they'll have another chance today or tomorrow, maybe multiple times this week, and we'll see what they do. Now, the third.
Well, let me, weigh in the comment, weigh in with your thoughts, comments. Again, put some love in the comments as well, man. I want to send my love and prayers to you guys. I hope everybody that's tuned in right now that you're doing well. No matter what situation you're in or how things are going, or you never know what people are going through, man. So I just want to send my love and prayers to you guys, and I encourage y'all to spread that love to one another, man. We're living in these times, man. These are the times we're living in. And every single day we fight like hell. And lately we've been coming out on top, man. Most of us, just trying to stay on top of the water. You got to tread that water, man. You got to tread it. There's been days I've been feeling like giving up, but we keep fighting, we keep climbing, and here we are. But we're going to continue to bring you updates, have fun. We're going to continue to spread love. We got some more things to get into on today's show. So if you're new here, join the family. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss an upload. And we are rocking and rolling 24/7, 7 days a week. And you just can't make this up as it gets worse and worse and worse for the Democrat Party. And especially as they try to once again blame Trump and that everything is Trump's fault. Trump is going to be dead and gone, in the future, and they're still going to be saying Trump, 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 Trump. Even in 2032, 2040, Trump, 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 Trump. I mean, man, just can't make it up, man. But hey, weigh in with your thoughts. Leave a beautiful comment down below, and I'll catch y'all on the next one on today's show.